So Robb is here today to say a few words, and we're very happy to have him. And then we'll talk a little bit about at the end about our Bison Cares campaign. But we'll let him give us some focus to the work that he's doing. So Robb, if you'd like to join me and take over from the mic, I'd be very comfortable with that.
I tried to get a duet with her and she refused, so thank you so much for having us here today. It's really cool to meet you. I know we've met some of you before, some of you have come and seen our shows to see what we do, but for those that have never seen us or heard my story of what we do, my story all started, I'm a kid, my dad was a truck driver, and I grew up in southern Manitoba. When I was 17, my buddy got his driver's license and we were going way too fast down some icy roads, and right near the US border, we pulled out to pass one last car on our way to school, and we got actually hit by a semi-truck and it crushed our vehicle, and I was actually found dead on arrival, no pulse, not breathing, and as you can tell, I came back to life. They brought me to Winnipeg and all that, did all these operations, including putting my head back together with metal titanium, my chest and shoulder, and I didn't wake up enlightened wanting to change the world. I woke up very angry and bitter. I didn't want to be alive. As you can tell, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'5". I played every sport. And now here I was, 6'5" and 17 years old, and my mom is bathing me again, and I got really upset. And people always came up to me trying to comfort me. They'd always say one of three things. Some people told me that it was fate. Some people told me that God spanked me with a semi-truck because I was a bad kid. But the most common thing people would say to me, and they still say to this day, they would always say that everything happens for a reason. So I would lay there trying to figure out the reason I got hit by a semi-truck, and I assumed it was because I was a bad kid. And one day somebody walked up to me and said the most amazing thing, and it changed my life. This guy walks up, he goes, "Hey Robb, you think everything happens for a reason, right?" I'm like, "That's what everyone tells me." He goes, "I think I know the reason you were hit by that semi-truck." And I'm like, "What is it?" He goes, "I think you got hit by that semi-truck because you were going too fast on an icy road." And I was thinking, wow, that sounds simple, but that was the best reason anyone told me. And I realized, we're all gonna have bad days, and that was a bad day for me, and I'm sure there's people in this room that have had bad days, yeah? See, 3 people. You guys are the loudest crowd we've ever had. I love it. But I got through that about a year and a half of this dark time in my life where I didn't want to be alive. I was suicidal, did a lot of stupid things my friends didn't know, my family didn't know. And I got through that dark time, and I wondered how many people out there were like me, especially young people, having those dark thoughts, they're not thinking about it. And I never wanted to be a musician. My worst mark in school was music, but I realized that I wanted to tell my story. That was my why. I wanted to tell my story to other people so they wouldn't have to die like I did before they started to live. They don't have to die before they live, you know what I mean? And I'll tell you what, I remember I fell down in this parking lot and I was like, I want to do something today. Like, I want my life to count. I got a second chance here, And I thought I'd hear a voice in me telling me to move to Africa and build a well or something, right? I didn't hear that. But there's a big difference between the voices in your head and the voice in your heart? You ever get promptings? This is what I felt clear as day. It was not to move to Africa, but this is what I felt. Phone the semi-driver, they hit you and tell them you're alive. And I was like, what? So as I phoned the police, I was like, can I get the phone number of the semi-driver that killed me a little while ago? And this cop's like, no. I'm like, all right, I tried. So I hung up the phone, but this voice wouldn't leave me alone, so I kept trying. Finally, one cop gave me his number. This big trucker from the US answers the phone. He's like, hello? I was like, hey, is this so-and-so? He's like, yep. I was like, remember that car accident up in Canada a little while ago? And he gets real quiet. He's like, yeah. I said, I just felt in my heart that I should call you, tell you, I'm okay, man. I'm alive. I survived. And this big dude starts crying. Found out he hadn't driven a vehicle since that day. Seen a therapist. He's on medication. The accident wasn't his fault. It was our fault. But he saw his semi run me over and kill me. This was haunting him. And we talked. This guy was set free. I hung up the phone and I was like, what? That wasn't so bad. I didn't have to move to Africa. I just had to phone somebody. But that felt good. I had never done anything for any of my life except for me. And I was like, man, I want some more. And again, I never wanted to be a musician, but I knew that would be a good way to tell a story. So we started a band. We did our first 3 albums. We thought we sounded good. Now I listen to those first albums and we were terrible. But on our 4th album, we got a big record deal. We had 4 top 10 hits on the radio in Canada. We're doing well. We're touring with our favorite bands, huge crowds. And one day I was offered a Johnny Cash tour, taking my guitar through prisons and youth detention centers, reserves and schools, telling my story. And I was like, yeah. And my record label said, no. Because we don't charge any money for this tour, right? The record label wants to make money, so they can't do this tour.
So to do the tour, I had to rip up my record deal, my publishing deal, my management deal, and everyone thought I was crazy. Because when you rip up your record deal, you do not have millions of dollars. In fact, you didn't have $1. You just owe people money because you didn't finish your contract. And then we don't charge for this tour, so everybody says, how can I pay for your tour? How can I pay for your life? I'm like, I don't know, but I feel like I'm supposed to do this. And I'll tell you what, when we started the tour, I never talked about my own suicidal thoughts. I just talked about my accident, how bad things happen sometimes. What are you going to do when it happens, you know? And one day we got called to a school in Ontario. They said, we just lost a student to suicide. Can you come right away? And now what are we supposed to do? Well, our flights are this, our hotels are this, you know? And but I realized, man, I got to make this happen. So we got out there because they said that on this girl's suicide note, it revealed that she had a deal with one of her friends. If you kill yourself, I'll kill myself. So we did the show. We're talking to a school of like 1,000 students, and we knew somebody sitting right in front of us was about to take their life, and we didn't know who it was. And we talked directly about it. I know somebody in this audience is thinking about it. You're not alone. And sure enough, this young girl comes up to me after the show, mascara running down her face, and she pulled a note out of her pocket and handed it to me. I'm like, what's this? She goes, it's my suicide note. I was going to kill myself this weekend. She goes, here, I don't need this anymore. We got her the help that she needed. And then at the next show, I was thinking, man, what if I acted like that at every show, every school that we go to, that there's somebody sitting in front of us thinking about it, right? So I talked about it directly again, and a young man came up to me, handed me his note. And since then, we've been doing this tour. It was supposed to be a 9-month tour. It's been almost 9 years now. It started with just me and my guitar, and it's growing. We've got a drummer, we've got a whole crew that goes along with us, right? We're still not charging for what we do. And we've now collected over 750 suicide notes from students, sitting with suicide notes in their pockets in class. And a lot of these students tattoo the words of our songs on their arms where they used to cut, right? And that meant so much to me. So last summer, I actually had my tattoo artist take all the signatures from all the suicide notes we were given. I had them tattooed on this arm. It's covered with all the signatures from all the suicide notes we were given. And I show kids this every day. Look, you're not alone. These are all people once had those thoughts too, and they're still here, and they're conquering the world around them. And I got to tell you guys, it's been growing. One couple that we'd never met before saw our show. They bought us the bus that Adele was renting for her tour. They said, here, take this. That sounds like a pretty big gift to get, right? Until you have to fuel it up the first time. You guys know about that? And we just keep going, doing this thing, and crazy things happen. And then we got a call one day from Bison. Watched the show, totally unexpected. They said, here's one of our Bison cards. We'll fuel you guys. And to us, getting fueled by Bison means a lot. It's written on the back of our trailer, fueled by Bison. And we drive by Bison trucks every day. We get a honk, or somebody says something on the CB, you know, and man, we wouldn't be doing this. You know, our gas costs, I think, were $35,000 that first year we partnered with you guys, and we would not be able to do this. And every day we get to be face to face with students handing us their razor blades, suicide notes, bottles of pills, and we get to see that reaction. You guys don't get to see that, and I wish you could, and that's why we agreed to come here today, because I just hope by hearing us, I can pass on that thank you, not just from the students, but from those parents that won't have to go to a funeral, those grandparents, uncles, and aunts. We get letters all the time. And I'll tell you this, for all of you, I hope you all get to see one of our shows one day. Heck, we'd put on a show for you guys if you want, you know. But we'd love for you to see a show. But until then, if you want to see what we do, if you go to robbnash.ca, you can see the videos. There's a guy that's got 3 Emmy nominations that films the work that we do with these kids for free. We post the videos. And if you want to go on our social media, look at what we do, see what the kids are writing, that's what we want you to see. Because you guys are a part of that. Every one of those, thank you for making this happen. Thank you for speaking to my son, my nephew at this prison. Like, we wouldn't get to those places without these partnerships. And man, we're just so thrilled to be working together with you guys. We would not be able to do this. And again, people always ask us how long you plan to do this. And man, no matter how many breakthroughs we've seen, there's still so much more tragedy. And we really want to thank you. And aside from just being here to thank you, I really hope you guys are inspired too. You know, and know that you're doing something that matters. You know, I always say this at schools, that everyone in the world knows what they do. Very few people know why they do it. You guys are a part of our why. And you need a little to get stirred, man. I'm a part of something. Go look at the comments from the kids. If you want to sign up for our newsletter, we send letters to everyone on our team every month of all the testimonies from all the kids, from the staff, the students, so you can see and you guys can get those, be a part of that. Just go up, sign with the mailing list. We've got my manager, Jared's here, Tyler's here. If you want more information, you can, or just go to robbnash.c, send an email, just click contact us, say I'm a part of Bison, I'd like to be a part of your newsletter. We'll send it to you, and I really, really want to thank you guys. And I want to say this too, because I don't just want to like thank you guys, but we're hoping every day I want to try to inspire people. And I'll say this, we were just on a radio interview and the DJ said, well, Rob, it's kind of good that you got hit by that semi-truck, isn't it? I'm like, no, it's not good to get hit by a semi. He goes, but look what you've done with it. I said, but the semi didn't make me do this. He goes, but if you could go back in time, you'd do it all over again, wouldn't you? Nope. I would never go back and get hit by a semi again. It was terrible. For a year and a half, I didn't want to be alive because of that accident. Guess what? I could still be sitting home angry about stuff that's still wrong with me. I'm still having surgeries. But I realized this, guys. I don't think bad things happen for a reason, but I think they happen with potential, both good and bad. My accident had the potential to leave me angry and bitter for the rest of my life. We all know people like that, right? Something happened when they were 20, now they're 81 and they're still angry about it, right? So I could be angry the rest of my life, or I could try to turn my story around and try to help others with it. But it's not automatic to make that decision. And I'll tell you, I know some of you said you had a tough day. I'm sure a lot of people in this room have had tough days already in your life. And if you haven't, you're gonna. And you got to figure out what you're gonna do with it. And try to remember those words, you know. And when you get to those tough days, know that you're not alone. And it's okay to talk about that stuff. Because I know those demons don't leave you alone when you become an adult, you know. So if you're ever dealing with any of that stuff, know that you're not alone. There's a lot of people, and I know the people here at Bison create this whole atmosphere because they want this to be a team, be a family. When you're a family, take care of each other. And I just want to thank you so much again for being a part of our family. Thank you, guys.
Hey Rob, thanks for sharing that powerful message. Really appreciate you coming out here and doing that for us. Folks, I just want to take a minute or two here to talk about our special partnership that we have here with the Robb Nash team. I say our partnership is unique in a sense because not only do we get behind them financially, but we also get behind them with leveraging our expertise in different areas of our business. So for example, we have fuel services that we offer for their bus. Today that bus is parked out front there, and for the last 2 years we've been putting fuel in there so they're able to get to different shows and different schools in our communities right across this country. We're going to continue to do that into 2018. Other services that we've leveraged is our maintenance team. Who's here from maintenance? You know, thanks to that maintenance team, they've helped the Robb Nash team in several situations for breakdowns, doing things like oil changes and helping them with parking services in our main terminals. And last but not least, you know, I think that as Bison Transport, we definitely know how to run miles safely, and we do that every day. But what we did is we partnered with the Robb Nash team and said, here's some guiding principles on how you guys can run safely on the road as well. And that's really important. We want our trucks to get to our destination safely, and we definitely want the Robb Nash team to get there safely as well. So, you know, I think I just wanted to really highlight that unique partnership that not only are we getting behind the Robb Nash team financially, but also providing them great services and expertise so that they continue to spread this great message to our many communities and schools, and most importantly, our youth. So, Rob, thanks for all that hard work, and I just want to highlight that. Thanks.
Thanks, Trevor. So Trevor was the project manager. We had a small working group that got together and said, you know, how can we create a partnership that's unique? Yes, we do have the Robb Nash project on our list of charities for the Bison Cares program, but what can we do beyond that? Let's leverage our strengths and make him as successful as possible for that cause. So I'm just going to wrap up today. A big thank you to Robb Nash and to Trevor, and for the working group that also got through this, whether it was marketing or maintenance and safety in particular. Everyone did a great job to make this come together and really be a unique Bison-sponsored charity and a piece of Bison Cares.